Europe, 1944. As World War II rages across the continent, Allied forces prepare for the invasion of occupied France. Deep inside a military headquarters, Major John Reisman is summoned to a secret briefing. Known for his toughness and unconventional methods, Reisman listens as senior officers reveal a dangerous plan. Hidden in a French chateau, several high-ranking German officers are gathering for a meeting. The Allies want the chateau destroyed before the invasion begins. The mission is so dangerous that few regular soldiers would volunteer. Then comes the shocking twist. Reisman will not command elite troops. He will lead 12 convicted military prisoners. With the fate of the mission resting on a group of condemned men, Reisman accepts the challenge. Major Reisman arrives at a military prison to meet the men selected for the mission. The 12 prisoners are a rough and dangerous group, each serving long sentences for serious crimes ranging from murder to armed robbery. They are angry, distrustful, and have little respect for authority. Gathered together, the prisoners listen as Reisman explains the offer. If they complete the mission successfully, they could receive reduced sentences or even their freedom. Some laugh at the idea, convinced the mission is a death sentence. Others see it as their only chance to escape prison. Despite their doubts and hostility, the men agree to participate. For the first time, the 12 outcasts are united by a common goal: survival. With the team assembled, Major Reisman moves the 12 prisoners to a remote training camp. The men quickly make it clear that discipline is not something they intend to embrace. Arguments erupt almost immediately. Orders are ignored, fights break out, and several prisoners openly challenge Reisman's authority. Some believe the mission is impossible. Others simply resent being commanded by anyone. Reisman knows traditional military discipline will not work with men who have already been condemned. Instead, he adopts unconventional methods. He gives the prisoners responsibility, rewards cooperation, and punishes failure as a group. The strategy creates tension. The men begin blaming one another when mistakes bring consequences. Slowly, they realize that survival depends on teamwork. One prisoner attempts to escape the camp, hoping to avoid the dangerous mission altogether. The escape ends in failure, reinforcing the reality that there is no easy way out. Days turn into weeks as the training intensifies. Obstacle courses, weapons drills, demolitions practice, and hand-to-hand combat push the prisoners to their limits. Despite themselves, the men begin to improve. For the first time, Reisman sees signs that the group may be capable of functioning as a unit. The prisoners are still rough, unpredictable, and dangerous, but they are no longer simply 12 isolated criminals. The transformation has begun. As the training camp settles into an uneasy rhythm, Reisman knows the hardest challenges are still ahead. The military command gathers to witness whether Reisman's experiment has succeeded or failed. The 12 men are brought to a field exercise designed to test discipline, coordination, and combat readiness. Watching them are skeptical officers who expect chaos and failure. At first, the prisoners appear unruly, moving with rough edges and unpredictable tactics. But as the exercise unfolds, it becomes clear they are adapting in ways traditional soldiers do not. They use deception, improvisation, and aggressive timing to outmaneuver their opponents. What looks like disorder from a distance is actually coordinated survival instinct. Reisman watches closely, allowing the men to operate with increasing independence. For the first time, he sees them not as liabilities, but as assets forged by necessity. By the end of the exercise, even the doubting officers are forced to acknowledge the result. The Dirty Dozen can function as a fighting unit. The mission is finally set in motion. Under cover of night, the 12 men prepare for deployment, each carrying the weight of uncertainty and fear. There are no speeches, no promises, only the quiet understanding that most of them may not return. Transport planes carry them across the dark skies toward occupied France. Inside the aircraft, tension builds in silence. Some stare at the floor, others check their gear repeatedly, while Reisman remains focused, steadying the group without words. As they approach the drop zone, the landscape below shifts into enemy territory. Searchlights and distant flares hint at danger waiting beneath the clouds. The order is given. One by one, the men jump into the night, disappearing into hostile ground. The mission has begun, and there is no turning back. Night settles over occupied France as the surviving men regroup on the ground, scattered but moving toward their objective. The forest is dense, silent, and full of unseen danger. Every sound feels amplified, every shadow suspicious. Reisman quickly reestablishes order, signaling the men into smaller units. They advance carefully, relying on instinct and the fragile discipline they built during training. German patrols move through nearby roads, forcing the group to stay hidden and patient. Tension rises as they close in on the chateau. Lights glow in the distance, and the target becomes visible through the trees, heavily guarded and heavily fortified. There is no room for hesitation now. Each man takes his position, waiting for the signal that will turn silence into violence. The signal breaks the silence, and the night erupts into chaos. Explosions tear through the perimeter as the Dirty Dozen launch their attack on the chateau. Gunfire cracks through the darkness, and searchlights swing wildly as German forces scramble to respond. The men fight with brutal determination, pushing forward under heavy resistance. Each room becomes a battleground, each corridor a desperate struggle for control. Their training and improvisation carry them through moments that should have broken them. One by one, members of the team fall, their numbers thinning as the cost of the mission becomes clear. Yet the objective remains in sight, driving the survivors deeper into enemy territory. Amid fire and smoke, they reach the heart of the compound, setting the final destruction in motion. The chateau is engulfed as the mission begins to tip toward completion. In the aftermath of the mission, Allied command reviews the results in a quiet briefing room. The chateau has been destroyed, and the German officers within it eliminated, achieving the strategic objective that once seemed impossible. But victory comes with a heavy cost. Most of the Dirty Dozen did not return. Their names are recorded, but their stories are reduced to numbers on a report. Reisman stands apart, no longer the same man who accepted the assignment. The surviving men are withdrawn, marked by what they endured and what they did to survive. There is no celebration, only silence. The mission is declared a success, but its meaning lingers in the emptiness left behind. 12 condemned men were sent to do what others could not, and paid for it in full.